Welcome you all. Today we are going to learn about 3D translation in this video. So you might be knowing what a translation is. Typically a translation is change in position of an object. You might have seen in my earlier videos regarding computer graphics. We have already discussed about 2D translation where we can change the position of a two-dimensional object from one position to another position. Similarly, same as we did in the case of a 2D translation, we can also translate a 3D object from its current position to a new position. So this change in position of an object is termed as translation. If we are translating a 3D object, it becomes a 3D translation. Clear? So in every 3D object, there are 3 dimensions. So consider that this is a 3D object. Let us examine what are the 3 dimensions of this object. So first I am going to talk about this particular direction, this dimension. So this represents typically the length of the object. This particular dimension represents the length of the object. So we require one dimension to represent the length, and here the dimension which is used to represent the length is typically represented by the axis x. This is the horizontal axis which represents the length of the object. Now let us move on to the next dimension. Now I am going to talk about this dimension. This typically represents the width of the object or breadth of the object. So width or breadth can be represented using the z axis. Clear? And now let us consider this axis, that is the height of the object. Now the third aspect is used to represent the height of the object. So every object is having its corresponding length, its own corresponding breadth or width, and its own corresponding height. So the third aspect which was used to represent the height is usually represented by the axis y. So now hope all of you know what are the 3 different aspects for an object which is in 3D. So every 3D object will be having its length, breadth and height. And these 3 length, breadth and height are represented using x, z and y dimensions. Clear? Now let us see how we can translate a 3D object from its current position to a new position. Okay? So for this, let me take to a new figure. Consider this particular picture where I am drawing 3 different axes, that is x-axis, y-axis and an z-axis, which shows 3 different dimensions of a 3D object, and let this be the 3D object which is there in its current position. Now I want to move this particular object from its current position to a new position. Let this be the new position. So after transformation, the object will be moved to its new position. Okay? Like this. So I moved from a particular position to a new position. Let us consider a particular point on the initial figure. Let this be a point in the initial figure. I am terming it as point P. Initially the object which is to be translated consists of many points in it, and for the time being I am considering or I am taking only single point in that object. And after translation, or once the object is moved to its new position, the same point will also be translated, is it? That means initially the point P was at this position, and after translation it might be moved to a new position. Let the new position be termed as P dash. So what are the things you learnt? Initially when the object was in its current position, it is having a set of points in it, and from the set of points, for the time being we are considering only one point at a time. After the object is being translated to its new position, all the points of the object will be transformed to its new position. Clear? So the point of consideration was taken as P, and after translation the point P will be moved to the point P dash. Now what happens? Let us see how P and P dash can be represented. See, every point on a three-dimensional space can be represented as x, y and z. Why? Because definitely it is a 3D object, and every 3D object is having its own x, y and z parameters in it. That means its own length, breadth and height. So definitely in a two-dimensional space, if a single point has two coordinates x and y, x representing the column and y representing the row where the point is lying. Similarly, in a three-dimensional space, every single point will be represented by three coordinate values x, y and z. Clear? So, P will also be represented by x, y and z. Similarly, P dash will be represented by x dash, y dash and z dash. So, this is clear to you. P is moved to P dash. P was the initial point and P dash is the final point to which it is moved. So let us now write the transformation equations for translation. That means how the translation occurs can be represented using an equation. So the equation for translation is termed as transformation equations. Now there are three sets of equations. First set of equation is used to represent the new x value, which can be obtained using previous x values. And the second equation is corresponding to y dash. Third equation corresponds to z dash. Let us now see how these x dash, y dash and z dash values are obtained. That means x dash can be calculated using the value of x. Whenever x is added to tx, we get x dash. That means to the current position, when a translation vector tx is added, we get a new x value. Similarly, whenever ty is added to y, that means to the value of y, whenever a translation vector ty is added, we get a new y dash. And when tz is added to z, we get z dash. Similarly, to the corresponding values of x, y and z, when tx, ty and tz are added, we get the equivalent x dash, y dash and z dash. In each of these equations, translation vectors are added. And what are the translation vectors? tx, ty and tz are the translation vectors. So typically translation occurs when the translation vectors tx, ty and tz are added to the initial point so as to get the final point. Let us see how the transformation equations for translation can be represented using a matrix. Clear? How these equations can be represented using matrix. So as I told you, this is the general way of representing a translation, where you have to write the general equation from right to left. I will explain you how. This is the initial point. When the initial point is translated, you will get final point. Okay, so initial point is translated, then you will get the final point. So the medium of assignment takes place from right to left. Okay, so this is how the equation is represented. Now let us substitute the values of p dash, p and t. Now we know that p can be written as x, y, z and 1. It can be written as a column matrix x, y, z and 1. And p dash can be written as x dash, y dash, z dash and 1. We know what is this x, what is this y, what is this z. These are the three different coordinates of a particular point. What about this 1? This is an extra coordinate. Now you might have already known homogeneous coordinates, something called homogeneous coordinates. So what are these homogeneous coordinates? Okay, I will explain. the method of representing an n coordinate system using n plus 1 coordinates. What is it? The method of representing n coordinate system using n plus 1 coordinates is called homogeneous coordinates. So this is a 3D space. In a 3D space you are having 3 coordinates, right? In a 3D space you are having 3 coordinates. Which are they? They are x, y and z. As per the definition of homogeneous coordinates, an n coordinate system can be represented using n plus 1 coordinate system. Okay, so here in 3-dimensional space you are already having 3 coordinates. So using 3 coordinates where value of n is 3, if it is to be represented using n plus 1 coordinates, that means n coordinates need to be represented with n plus 1 coordinates. That means 3 coordinates can be represented using 4 coordinates. If n is 3, it should be represented using n plus 1 coordinates, which is 4. Okay, so using just 3 coordinates, how we can represent the entire thing using 4 coordinates without any change in value? You can use n plus 1 coordinates. 1 coordinate extra can be used provided the value of the equations should not be changed. So for this purpose we are using the 4th coordinate as 1 so that the value is not changed. Okay, so let us see how this works. So we have already written the matrices of P and P dash, but yet we have not written the matrix for T. Let us now see how the matrix T can be written. Okay, the value of x dash can be found out by multiplying the first row with this column matrix. I repeat, value of x dash can be obtained when the first row of matrix T is multiplied with this column matrix. So what should be multiplied so that we get an equation x dash is equal to x plus tx? This is the equation we must get. X dash is equal to x plus tx. So to get x dash we have to add 2 values x and tx, which means x should be multiplied to 1. X should be multiplied to 1. So I am writing here at 1. Since in this equation there are no y and z parameters, the y and z parameters are termed as zeros. Now the last value is tx, that means x should be added to tx. So for that purpose the last value is termed as tx. So the first row is 1 0 0 tx. Let us now multiply. 1 into x will give you x. 0 into y will give you 0. 0 into z will give you 0. And tx into 1 will give you tx. That means x plus 0 plus 0 plus tx is x plus tx. So typically you got the equations for x dash. Clear? Now in this way let us obtain the value of y dash. Now what is the equation of y dash? Y dash is equal to y plus ty. Y plus ty means y dash can be obtained when the second row is multiplied by this column matrix. I am going to multiply some value with this column matrix. So the second row, what should be the value of the second row such that when the second row is multiplied to the column matrix and the equation you get is y dash equal to y plus ty. Okay, so let us multiply. See, in this equation there are no values for x and z. So x and z values are already 0. What about y? Y dash equal to y plus ty. That means there are y parameters. Y should be multiplied by 1. So let us put a 1 over here and let us put a ty here. Now shall we multiply? Okay, so 0 into x will give you 0 plus 1 into y will give you y. 0 into z will give you 0 plus ty into 1 will give you ty. So typically you will get the equation y plus ty. In this way, what is the value you got? You got the values for second row such that the equation of y dash becomes y plus ty. Let us move on to the equation for z dash. Equation for z dash is equal to z plus tz. To get z plus tz, what should we do? Since there are no parameters related to x and y, both should be equal to 0. One more thing, to get the value of z dash, you need to multiply the values of third row with this column matrix. So what are the values of the third row such that when you multiply the third row with the column matrix, you get the equation z dash is equal to z plus tz. Okay, let us find it. So since in this equation there are no x and y parameters, both x and y positions will be having zeros in it. Now the value of z dash is z plus tz. So I am putting a 1 over here and putting a tz over here. Let us multiply now. We will get 0 into x, which is 0, plus 0 into y, which is also 0, 1 into z, which is z, tz into 1, which is tz. So the equation we got is z plus tz. So in this way, we can obtain the equations for z dash is equal to z plus tz. So in this way, we already obtained the 3 equations for translations. One more row is pending, and that row should be added in such a way that there is no change in the value of equations. Okay, let me do it. Last equation I should get like this: 1 is equal to 1. Here is a 1 which is equated to 1. Okay, so we have to find the values of fourth row such that when it is multiplied by this column matrix, that means when the fourth row is multiplied by this column matrix, the equation should be equal to 1 equal to 1. What should be added? There are no x parameters, no y parameters and no z parameters. So all these 3 values will be 0. And the last one will be a 1. Let us now multiply. 0 into x will give you 0, plus 0 into y will give you 0, plus 0 into z will give you 0, plus 1 into 1 will give you 1. So in this way, whenever you multiply each corresponding row with this column matrix, that is, when first row is multiplied by the column matrix, you will get the value of x dash. When second row is multiplied by column matrix, you will get the value of y dash. When third row is multiplied by column matrix, you will get the value of z dash. And when fourth row is multiplied with the column matrix, you will get the value of fourth value, that is 1. So even though an additional coordinate is added, that is with n plus 1 coordinates, there is still no change in the values of equations. Still the equations are same, which is x plus tx is equal to x dash, y plus ty equal to y dash, and z plus ty is equal to z dash. So in this way, the matrices in which n coordinate system can be represented using n plus 1 coordinates without change in value, it is called homogeneous coordinates, and in every transformation is usually represented using homogeneous coordinates itself. Whether it is translation, scaling, rotation, whatever it may be, it can be represented using homogeneous coordinate system. Okay, so this is how matrices can be represented in a standard way. Clear? Hope you understood the whole concept. What our translation is, it is typically the change in position of an object from one position to another position, and whenever the object is transformed from one position to another position, the entire points in the object will be moved to the new position, and for each point, each individual point on the object, this particular transformation has to be done. because every point has a corresponding x, y and z in it. So every point in the object must be translated so that the entire object is to be translated. Okay, so this is all about